I want you to know that there's a number of Democrats in the House who have said they're going to boycott the event. Yeah. Yes. And then some others are going to protest. Listen, we're going to have extra sergeants at arms on the floor, and if anybody gets out of hand, the Speaker of the House will bang the gavel. We're going to arrest people if we have to do it. We're going to get the message out.
That's Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, threatening to arrest anybody who protests Benjamin Netanyahu's speech today at the Capitol. That's a problem because there are a lot of people who plan to do that. Many thousands plan to march on the Capitol, tens of thousands, in fact. But Johnson is clearly more focused on his Democratic colleagues because he doubled down with a Dear Colleague letter yesterday. In a Dear Colleague letter, the speaker said there will be an additional police resources on the Capitol campus, and disturbing Netanyahu's address may subject the offenders to prosecution. Capitol Police and the Sergeant at Arms will remove any guests causing a disturbance. Additionally, the speaker called on members to model respect and proper decorum, noting it is our tradition to acknowledge every guest speaker's right to free expression, even if we disagree with their viewpoint. Every guest speaker, I look young, but I am old enough to remember the March State of the Union this year. Biden spars with Marjorie Taylor Greene about a murder he said was committed by an illegal. Rep. Lauren Boebert heckles Biden as he talks about his late son during the State of the Union. So decorum for some. But who will be boycotting Netanyahu's speech and potentially face the speaker's wrath? A number of Democrats are considering objecting to the upcoming speech. Several intend to boycott it, including Representatives Jim Clyburn, Pramila Jayapal, Greg Casar, and Lloyd Doggett. Others have considered different forms of protest. According to Axios, an unnamed House Democrat has said some of his colleagues plan on going and disrupting the speech. Wisconsin Representative Mark Pocan suggested dressing in a certain way or sitting together, but specified that he will not be going MTG. And of course, the most high-profile Democrat will be skipping as well, though she will meet with him separately. So Harris is going to skip the actual speech where she would be sitting behind him, but will have a private meeting with Netanyahu. So Sharon, are you planning on keeping an eye on this speech today? Do you think that some of these Democrats will actually disrupt the speech, and is having them arrested the appropriate response?
Of course not. But then again, when you are with MAGA and you are against democracy, that's lock them up. Just lock everybody up. They won't be able to disrupt like MTG, as you mentioned there. If the Democrats just chew gum, they'll probably get in trouble. I think Jamal Bowman, who probably has a little time left, should pull the fire alarm or something to get this party started. I would love to see that, but perhaps I'm far too immature to join the House. I just think it's so stupid. Worry about if Marjorie Taylor Greene is strapped that day and avoiding the metal detectors, okay? Worry about real problems, not Netanyahu, who should be entering into a ceasefire, rubber stamping it, not worried about how his meeting goes with President Biden, and end this war, okay? He should be pulling Netanyahu aside to say, this is what we need from you, okay? For humanity's sake, not trying to lock up Raskin and others, perhaps for dressing in pink pants. Maybe that's the distraction, but I'd enjoy that too.
You said something that I hadn't thought about, but would be great, and that is Bowman. Bowman doing something, go out in a blaze of glory. He's got nothing to lose. Yeah. I love that idea. That's great. That is so great, Sharon. I hope he does something. And it is something that I could see him doing, because this is an issue he's been outspoken on, and justifiably so. So we have an update on the death toll in Gaza. This is what is inspiring people to speak out. We are arming the Israeli government as they continue to kill people in Gaza, many of whom are innocent civilians. Since the start of the war in Gaza, more than 39,140 Palestinians have been killed and 90,250 have been injured, many with life-changing wounds. The Strip's health facilities have been decimated. Earlier in July, a Lancet study said the true death toll could reach more than 186,000, considering the thousands of people buried under rubble and indirect deaths due to the destruction of health facilities, food distribution systems, and other public infrastructure. Israel is currently besieging Khan Yunis, where 84 Palestinians were killed within 24 hours and hundreds are wounded. These attacks by Israel come just after they once again reduced the size of the humanitarian zone. You can see that here. Israel War on Gaza updates. Israel forces Palestinians into 20% of Gaza. Let's bring up the map of what that looks like. The shaded area you're seeing is the area the IDF has just demanded evacuation of. Following IDF's concerns, Hamas was regrouping in that area. So they're pushing people into an increasingly smaller and smaller zone. They are still bombing these areas where they are pushing Palestinians into. There is, that I have seen, no clear sign that this will end anytime soon. And even discussions over a ceasefire agreement has been met by Netanyahu and his government with threats of them saying, well, we're going to continue the war until we accomplish our goals. And in understanding those goals, you have to recognize that will lead to many, many, many more innocent people dying. And the US is continuing to arm Israel and the IDF. He has chided Biden publicly for temporarily holding back one shipment of arms. And here he is coming to the Capitol while having a warrant out from the ICC. It's just it's a slap in the face to concepts of international law, to democracy, to freedom, to autonomy, to liberty. I mean, this is just disgusting, Sharon. What do you think?
It is, and due to our union, our never-ending union, our partnership with Israel, it's impossible for us to supply weapons and then back the world body when they issue an arrest warrant. This, it looks like it will only end if Netanyahu is arrested and put behind bars. He does not view the Palestinian people as equals. You had that horrific October 7th terrorist attack. It was just the devil at work, if you believe. And here we have scores and scores now. It's not an eye for an eye of Palestinian people, innocent people, women, children, men, just being wiped out. And now you showed the map, being herded like cattle into a small area where Netanyahu can impose his will. I don't know what happens next. It's incredibly disrespectful that he's even showing up here and entering the Capitol and walking freely and doing little deeds and poking fun and gaslighting America and democracy. But that's what he's doing. And I would hope that the Republicans and MAGA would stop playing this game. And I'd also hope that President Biden, in his remaining 5 months, steps up and leads, not rhetoric, but reality. I don't know if he can do that, but I know he should.
Yeah, I don't think he's, even if he could, I don't know if Biden is even willing to do that. And there's been a lot of closer examination of where Harris falls on this issue in rhetoric, which of course isn't substantive, but in rhetoric, she does seem to be more sympathetic and recognizes the humanity of the Palestinians in this conflict. Of course, she's going to meet with him. And I think that will upset a lot of people on the progressive side of the political spectrum. But this, you got to be real about the circumstances here. This is somebody who could be the next president. They are, unfortunately, our ally. And if you want to change that, progressives and foreign policy, you want to do that through diplomacy, not war, of course. So a starting point is just meeting with him and talking to him. There were reports, whether they are true or not, are that she plans to take a tougher stance with him, even in this conversation. So we'll see. I hope she is better. It remains to be seen.
When you click the join button and become a tier 2 member, you get access to all of our weekly top 10 lists. What are you waiting for?